ICE is a law enforcement entity. And I don't know why we all of a sudden believe, because of our political beliefs, that we are to ignore a law enforcement entity. I'm not. I'm not going to ignore any law enforcement entity that's going to help me take dangerous people off the streets. We don't deal with civil enforcement. It's clear the law say we can't. But in the areas that I could partner and coordinate with ICE, I'm going to do so.
And that's New York City Mayor Eric Adams on working with the Trump administration to take dangerous illegal criminal migrants off of the streets of New York. New numbers from the New York City Police Department show murders, robberies, and felony assaults are down compared to last year, while rapes are up, even as the Trump administration is threatening to pull some $14 billion in federal funding to the MTA unless it provides details on its plan to keep transit in New York City safe. The NYPD says transit crime in New York is down 22% compared to last year, due in part to the city boosting police patrols during the overnight hours in the subways. Joining me now in the Sunday Morning Futures exclusive is the New York Police Commissioner, Jessica Tisch. Commissioner, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Congratulations to you. This has to be good news with all these numbers down. Tell us how it's happened.
So this is great news for all New Yorkers. We've seen double-digit declines across virtually every category in every borough in the city of New York over the past 3 months. We are on pace to have a record low number of shootings in the first quarter of any year in recorded history. So crime in New York City is definitely on the decrease for the past several months.
What do you want to say to what you heard from Pam Bondi? She is attributing it to President Trump removing illegal migrants from New York City. I know that you don't see those people on scooters snatching bags anymore.
So there's a number of factors that I believe have gone into the record crime declines that we're seeing. Among them, we create zones in the city where we see pockets of violence and disorder, and we flood those zones with cops. That's been a strategy that has been working very well in New York City. We've also been working very closely with our federal partners, going after criminals regardless of their immigration status, and that work continues.
So ICE is going to work with New York. New York will work with ICE to remove the migrants, the illegals committing crimes as well.
New York City and the NYPD have long-standing partnerships with the Department of Homeland Security, with the FBI, with the DEA, task forces that we staff with NYPD cops where we go after criminals regardless of immigration status. I would say that under President Trump, that work has been beefed up to really focus on those task forces on going after criminals.
Because the migrant arrests are down, right?
We don't track immigration status when we make arrests in New York City, so I can't give you a number of how many migrants have been arrested in the past or arrested today. It's not something that we track under the laws in New York City.
Do you believe New York City is a sanctuary city? Should it be a sanctuary city?
Well, as the police commissioner, I am a law enforcer. I don't make the laws. And so we are going to enforce the laws that are on the books in New York City. And New York City does have fairly strong sanctuary city laws, and we follow those laws.
You know, I saw something, I think it was on Instagram, where you had all these cops in the subway, and I thought, well, that's terrific. You know, you've got all these cops flooding, like you said, flooding the area. That certainly sends a message. But someone said to me the other day, look, it's only for 6 months at a clip. Governor Hochul puts cops on this 6-month thing. What happens after the 6 months?
So the 6 months was an investment for 6 months that the state made in it. We haven't determined how long the cops are going to stay on those overnight trains. We've put 2 cops on every overnight train. But that's not all we've done in the subway. We've really focused on the subway stations where the crime is actually occurring. And instead of putting our cops at the subway entrance where they were, we're putting them on the trains and the platforms where 78% of the crime actually occurs, and that strategy has worked.
Well, this has to be a big effort, obviously, and this has to cost much more money. You also had, after the defund the police movement, lots of cops leaving. Are you putting those people on overtime? Is this going to pressure you in terms of the cost? This has to be a huge tab when it comes to overtime.
So thank you for raising that. In New York City, we are facing a hiring crisis for police, and I think this is is something that police departments around the country are feeling and experiencing as well. I attribute a lot of it to the anti-police and the defund the police movements.
Yep.
Made people less interested in becoming police officers in this country, and that's a terrible thing.
Yeah.
And so the mayor has given me full support to hire as many cops as we can hire and find, and we're really trying to encourage people in New York City to get back into the game and to want to become police officers again by knowing they have a mayor and a police commissioner that actually have their backs.
So you are going to be pushing this out even more, making sure they know that there's an incentive.
We plan to hire
combat.
thousands and thousands of cops in New York City this year, not only to meet our attrition, but to exceed it.
What kind of an issue has the changes in cash bail meant for you? This has been an issue we've talked about a lot. In fact, I had on former Governor Andrew Cuomo on this program, and I asked him about it. I want to let you hear this clip, get your reaction to it. Here he is, a couple of years ago.
Look, bail reform for many years was based on how much money you had, Maria. That's what cash bail is. If you're rich, you get out. If you're poor, you sit. That's an injustice, not justice. We made that change. We're going to make more changes. I understand the fear. I understand the criticism. I said that I'm working on it, and I believe we're going to get something done in the budget on April 1.
So you think you'll get judges having the discretion that they should have?
I think we will have, I understand the issues that they have raised.
Right.
I think judges are part of the system, and I'm working with the legislature, but I think we're going to get a good resolution by April 1.
Commissioner, we didn't have a resolution. What do you think about cash bail?
In New York City, we do not have a surging crime problem, but we do have a surging recidivism problem. And that surging recidivism problem tracks back to when those criminal justice reforms were passed. Not just the bail law, there were other laws. The most problematic for us is actually the discovery law in New York City, which allows violent, repeat offenders back out on the streets because of minor technicalities that would have absolutely no bearing whatsoever on the outcome of the case. This has rendered our criminal justice system in New York City a high-speed revolving door for criminals, and we need to shut it down. And we call on lawmakers up in Albany to fix some of the mistakes or some of the loopholes that have been created through those previous reforms.
Recidivism is the issue that Ray Kelly has talked about over and over again on this program. You've got to do something about the recidivism.
We do, and if you look back to 2018, before those reforms took hold, our recidivism in many categories is up over 100%, 147% for felony assault. It is out of all control, and we need our governor and our lawmakers up in Albany to do something about it.
Obviously, Cuomo is running to be the next mayor. Have you decided who you're supporting for New York City mayor?
So my position is not a political position. I'm the police commissioner, and we enforce the laws.
Will you run for mayor?
I am a public servant and certainly not a politician.
So you didn't say yes or no.
I said I'm a public servant, not a politician.
Okay. Tell us what you're looking for in New York in terms of getting this, continuing and getting this to the next level in terms of safety, so that you stop people from leaving New York because they're fearful.
We need our criminal justice laws in New York City to change, and to change now, so that we shut down the revolving door for recidivists. It's got to happen this spring up in Albany. And the other big thing that we have to do is to continue to support our police officers, to hire more cops. It is the most noble profession anyone could take on. And in this country, and certainly in this city, we have to treat our cops accordingly.
Commissioner, it's great to have you this morning.
Very good to be with you.
Thank you so much. NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch, please come back soon. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.